So guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about this brand new Flashback David Luiz item which was released at 6 PM today, and it looks like a very good card, and with it being an Arsenal item now, I definitely want it in my club. I'm just looking at this card right now, and I actually haven't looked at the SBCs yet, but it says 0 out of 4, so I get the sense that this SBC is going to be pretty expensive. So let's go have a quick look, shall we, at what you've got to complete for David Luiz. You've got to do an 85 rated squad, another 85 rated squad, an 86 rated squad, and an 87 rated squad. So this SBC is nowhere near as cheap as the ones that we were given yesterday. And they've done it again. They've given us untradeable rewards for the SBC, which is... it sucks. Like, it's just so greedy of EA. It's Team of the Year. At least give us tradable rewards for completing the SBCs, especially on a player that's going to be expensive like this card. Like, EA, come on, seriously. Anyway, before we get into this video, if you could leave a like rating on this video, that would be muchly appreciated. In the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts on this David Luiz item. Also, let me know your thoughts on the SBC requirements as well. And if you're new to the channel, do be sure to subscribe. Right, now because this SBC is looking pretty freaking expensive, although I am going to eventually complete it just because I'm an Arsenal fan, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to get the loan. Okay, so this is the team we're going to be using David Luiz in. We're going to partner him up with Road to the Final Gomez. We'll see if he performs better than that item. Now let's have a look at this card's in-game attributes. They look pretty mad, to be honest. And for a defender, he's got some really good technical stats as well, which is nice. So you could play this guy as a CDM if you wanted to. And maybe in some of the games that we play, we'll try him out in midfield as well. So let's break things down, shall we? Let's start from the right. Let's talk about his physical stats because they look amazing. He's got very good strength of 88 and really high aggression of 96. So this guy should battle for the ball a lot, which is great to see. He's got a really good jumping stat of 87 too, and with him being 6'2", should win a decent amount of aerial battles. Obviously, his stamina rating isn't anything special, but 72 is more than enough for a centre-back. But if you use him as a CDM, obviously he might tie it a bit more if he plays that role. Defensively, his stats are outstanding. 92 interceptions, 91 stand tackle, and 88 slide tackle. Brilliant attributes in that column, as well as a good defensive awareness stat of 86. For a centre-back, some nice dribbling attributes too. 90 reactions, 92 ball control, and 90 composure. Very good to see. And his passing stats, once again, are absolutely outstanding for a centre-back. Brilliant short passing rating of 86, and really good long passing of 91, and decent vision as well. So this guy should be able to distribute well from deep, which is obviously great. Also, some very nice attributes in the shooting section. 94 shot power, 85 long shots. If the opportunity does arise, maybe we'll take off a few shots with this guy from distance, but it's unlikely that those chances are going to occur, to be honest. Finally, the pace column. 78 acceleration, 85 sprint speed, very good attributes, very quick already, but I'm sure most people are still going to put a Shadow Chem style on this item. Anyway, we've discussed the numbers, now let's get into some games and let's see what this David Luiz card has to offer. So this is the team we come up against for David Luiz's debut. Pretty standard Premier League side which features a couple of OP players. Hopefully David Luiz can maybe claim a clean sheet on debut. Jamie Vardy against David Luiz here, but David Luiz stays strong, positions himself well and gets the tackle in. Jamie Vardy not getting past David Luiz on this occasion. Chance, David Luiz was not letting that ball run past him. He's going to make up for it as well. He's going to tackle Shaqiri. Oh, referee's giving a foul. Oh, nice positioning and interception there from the Brazilian. Okay, there's half time. Unfortunately, hasn't been a super eventful first 45. It's still 0-0, and we've had a lot of defending to do. David Luiz fires the ball up the field, and I think Aubameyang might actually get on the end of this. What a through ball. Now we've got a chance. Can we profit off this? We're going to go for the volley. Oh, would have been a really nice goal. Chance for my opponent, but David Luiz so aggressive in the tackle. Just takes it off Wijnaldum with relative ease. Oh, mistake by my midfielder there, but David Luiz is back, and unfortunately we get away with it. Oh, well done David Luiz. Last man back, making sure he made that. Well, my opponent's just quit in the 87th minute. Like, what's the point? At that point, you may as well just finish the game. But anyway, David Luiz and Joe Gomez both got pretty good match ratings in that game, and that's because defensively they were both absolutely solid. David Luiz ends the game with a 100% passing completion. Dribbles not so high, but that's because I was going on a couple of runs with him just to test out his dribbling more than I normally would with a centre-back. And his tackling ended up being 5 out of 7. Not a bad debut, to be honest. As I said, I thought both my centre-backs were very, very good in that match. And they had to be because we were under quite a bit of pressure throughout most of that game. Next up for Luiz is a full Spanish side. My opponent's actually got a couple of silvers in his team. I'm going to presume he is going for the flashback Iniesta objective because, yeah, why else would you use a team like this?
Tight angle there, but could he pull it back to a teammate?
David Luiz aerially wins the header up against Ronaldo, I think that was. He's just subbed him off. Jeez, he's made some mad subs. And after I've scored one goal, my opponents decided to quit. So, can't really grade David Luiz on much because, yeah, he won a header and that was pretty much it in that game. But another clean sheet in the bag. Let's move on to another match. That's more like it. So in game number 3, we come up against a pretty insane team. He's got Neymar, Icon George Best, 2 Icon centre-backs. He's also got an inform Mane. And, yeah, this team's pretty mental. It's a really good side. Chance for my opponent. Oh, Joe Gomez out of line. David Luiz. Oh, put the pressure on, but he's still got the shot away. How has he got that shot away? What a finish that is from Mane. Like, I don't think David Luiz can do much more there, unless he was taller. Benjeda coming forward, but David Luiz deals with him this time. David Luiz once again dives in and gets the job done on the second attempt. Uh-oh, could be in trouble here. Benjeda trying to come through, but David Luiz just covers. Makes it look easy. Okay, so at the break, as you can see, the score is 4-2. It's been one of them games where, yeah, it's just goals galore, essentially, like rebound goals everywhere. But nonetheless, good to be in at the break with the lead. Now, in the second half, we're actually going to be trying out David Luiz as a CDM. And I'm really stupid, so I didn't put a centre-back on the bench. So we're going to have to go with Guardiola as my right centre-back. So, yeah, let's see how this goes. Oh, David Luiz. Nice interception. Can we open up a chance for a shot here? I just want to take off a shot of him. Let me have the shot. As you can see, not the most agile of players, but we're slowly trying to break through. Here's a chance. Here's David Luiz from distance. Goes for it and it's gone in. It's took a rebound, but it's ended up in the back of the net. We finally get a goal in the second half. And it's a long shot from flashback David Luiz. Let's have a look. How many deflections did that take? One big one off of Rio, but you know what? They all count. My opponent's handling the loss really well. He's just been passing around the back for the last 10 minutes, which is fine with me because I'm 5-2 up. At the end of the day, he's still taking a big L. And there it is. The full-time whistle blows. We get ourselves that 5-2 victory after a dominant second half performance where we were just absolutely solid defensively. Thought David Luiz played quite well in that game. I actually thought he was better as a centre-back than I did at CDM, but still did pretty well in the CDM role, to be honest. I thought his passing was fantastic, and he screened the defence very nicely. Okay, so now the gameplay is done. It's now time for me to give my thoughts on this 90 rated flashback David Luiz card. Now, let's make this summary simple. This card's brilliant. It's a really, really good centre-back card. It was absolutely solid for me. And I really don't have too many complaints about this item. There is one big complaint there, and that is the price and the reward from the SBC, and we're going to discuss them later in the video. But for now, let's break things down and discuss this guy's in-game performance, and then afterwards, we'll discuss whether this guy's worth it or not, with his price tag being pretty high. So, in-game, I thought the guy was rapid, very quick for a centre-back, and it's worth noting, I didn't even have a shadow chem style on him, and I thought he was super freaking quick. Anyone who broke through, this guy was quick enough to catch up with, and that obviously was very good to hear. The reason I actually kept the basic chem style on him rather than giving him a shadow is because I was planning to use him in CDM, and that's exactly what I did do, and I wanted his stats to be a bit more well-rounded for when he played in that role. His shooting, can't really complain about that. He's a defensive player, and for the most part, his shots were very powerful and pretty accurate from distance, which is great. Finishing inside the box, as you'd expect, isn't great, but it's going to be rare that you're actually going to take off a shot with him inside the box, so no worries in that department. His positioning as a centre-back, I actually thought was really good. He just sat in the centre-back role and didn't really move out of position, which was very nice, so happy with that. And also when I used him as a DM as well, didn't really get forward too much, just sat and did his job, which obviously was very pleasing. That's what I want my defensive players to do. I thought the passing on this card was pretty freaking amazing, to be honest. Really good short passing, and from distance he can just ping a ball to the other side of the field, which was really cool. His dribbling, when I used him as a CDM, I obviously got to use his dribbling a little bit. Not the most agile of players, and you definitely can notice that when you've got him in possession of the ball. Not the easiest players to turn with, but he's got really good ball control, and he, as I say, he does control the ball really well, so he can protect the ball quite nicely. But yeah, wouldn't go on too many runs with this guy. And if you're going to use him as a DM, probably would put a dribbling heavy chem style on him just to help out with his on the ball ability if you're going to use him as a CDM. If you're going to use him as a centre back, you obviously don't need to upgrade those dribbling stats. Defensively, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought he made loads of interceptions for me, which was nice. Regularly, he was very aggressive with them as well, just shooting out line and made sure he got to the ball, which was great. Aerially, great once more. Won plenty of aerial battles, leaped really high and just got to the ball regularly, especially defensive headers. His tackling, for most part, was very good as well, so I was really happy with that. Physically, the same can be said, to be honest. Really strong and aggressive in-game. Well, he's not super strong in-game, but because he's got such high aggression, he battles for the ball so much, and he wins more battles than you'd expect him to, just because he's so freaking aggressive in battling for the ball, which is nice. So overall, I've got to say, this card's brilliant. It's a really solid centre-back card, and I'm sure it would get into most people's teams at this stage of the game. But the question of the video is more about, is this guy worth it? And at the current time, this card costs just under 500k, which is yeah, a pretty big price tag. Especially when you compare it to previous centre-back SBCs that we've had. Ultimate Stream PK comes to mind. I believe when that SBC came out, like, he cost around 100 to 150k, and he was an absolute bargain at that price. Another comparison in price that I can make is 90 rated Van Dijk, the non-informed version. He's currently 400k, and he's obviously one of the best centre-backs in the game. And if you went for 90 Van Dijk over 90 David Luiz, obviously you would be able to trade that Van Dijk if you got bored of him. But if you got this David Luiz, obviously you are stuck with him because it's an untradeable. So do I think David Luiz is worth picking up for 500k? I think he is, if you're confident that you're going to stick with a Premier League team all year long, because I do believe this card is an endgame centre-back item. But like I say, you've got to be confident you're going to stick with a Premier League team all FIFA long, because otherwise you're not going to get your value for money out of this item. You're going to want to use it if you're going to put that much money into an untradeable centre-back. I personally will be completing the David Luiz SBC just because I'm an Arsenal fan and I want this card in my club. But I can't say I'd advise everyone to go out and get this card unless, like I say, and I've said it on repeat numerous times, you're confident you're going to use it a lot. Of course, if you're unsure about this item, you can pick up the loan and try it yourself, but I think most people know that this card is very freaking good, a very effective item in game. It's just a case of whether you want to spend 500k on an untradeable CB. And it also sucks that the rewards are untradeable too, because obviously that takes the value down. Like, you're not getting anything back. You're going to get 0 coins back from doing the SBC, which is a bit of a shame, but you do get a really good centre back. Anyway, I'm rambling. Guys, we're coming towards the end of the video now. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like rating on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and in the comments, be sure to be active. Let me know your thoughts on this card, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.